Welcome back. Let's talk about fencing today. Not how to do fencing, but in the type of fencing you might need on a small farm or an acreage or a little homestead if that's what you've just purchased. Two things to think about always when you're thinking about fencing is, one is, what do you want to keep in? What are you going to have? What size are they? What habits do they have? But more importantly, or at least as importantly, what you want to keep out. So this is my neighbour's place, this is my place, this is a boundary fence, and this is one of my internal fences. So I have Black Angus, and I have alpacas, and I have miniature horses. So they're all about the same height. That's what I want to keep in. I might as well add a pig or two over time to that. I could add a sheep over time to that, and I could add a dairy cow, which is a small Jersey dairy cow, and again, right, relatively the same height. So fencing for me can be as high as this, which is, you know, fair well hip height, so a metre each. My neighbours on different sides, some have scraggy cattle with horns, some have much bigger Murray Greys and quite more aggressive. This neighbour over here is going to get some Brahmans, which are big and have no respect for fence. Each animal has a different respect for fences. So miniature Black Angus will go through almost anything, and they'll rub up against anything, so they stretch your wires. Alpacas, they look at a fence and go, oh, that's a fence, I respect that, I'm staying away from it. Horses tend to respect fences, but again, they're very bad rubbers of fences. So the first thing you should do when you get to your acreage is get yourself an electric fence, because everything respects a little bit of electricity, and you can get solar panel electric fences that just give them a little jolt. I've done it many a times on me. So electric fence is the first thing that you want to do to electrify your fence, or at least put a standoff like I've got these two here going around. Then when you want to keep things out, of course, if you want to keep things out, then barbed wire is great. So what I've done is, between me, the Brahmans, between my other neighbours with their bigger cattle, is gone with, you know, it's called pig netting, but so it's netting, a plain wire, a barbed wire, and I've left enough room on each post, if I need to go another wire higher. On the internal fences, again, standoffs to stop things rubbing against the fence, and just a plain wire, because people lean on it and they want to look at your animals and you don't want them to get things. And then again, the electric standoff. But if I was to put bigger cattle in here, I've got room to put another 2 wires on top. So I've come up with a fence that's adaptable to what's outside it, what's inside it, and it can be adapted over time. So, you know, if you're going to do this fencing yourself, you know, you've got a tractor and you're going to dig all the holes yourself. I had a contractor put these ones in. There's about 2 kilometres of it, so, you know, it's quite an expensive operation. So my advice is, first, think about what you're going to have that's outside, what's inside, what you're keeping, what's out. Then think about the type of netting you've done. Around here we have some wild dog problems, dingoes and mixes of dogs, generally dogs that people have dumped and they've gone wild. So this is big enough to keep wild dogs out. It keeps the chooks in, it keeps my dogs in, it doesn't stop the snakes, but then it has the wire netting on top, which stops things leaning over, and it's got a standoff. On other fences, I've put a standoff on the other side of the fence to keep the neighbours' cattle away from it also. So think seriously about that. Think seriously about getting an electric fence. Even if you've got an old fence, cattle, horses, alpacas, they get stung once and then they stay away. In fact, some of them are more important, more intelligent than humans, because I sting myself all the time. So get an electric fence and then look at the size of your animals, but you know, even for resale value, if that's what you're going to do later, get these fences sort of like this combination where you can adapt them over the time, or the next person might come on and they like bigger cattle or bigger horses, and they can put the extra wire in and not have to replace the fence. So that's my little bit on fencing. Thanks for joining me. Subscribe to my channel. Come back and look at another time.